we'll get started, and if there's anybody else who'd like to join, then I can just admit them. So excuse me, I'll be looking down here quite a bit to see if there's anybody wanting to come in. So thanks very much for joining us here. Welcome to the Republic of Work Lunch and Learn series. Republic of Work do these webinars every Tuesday between 1 and 2, and they benefit all businesses basically, and it's a huge range of different topics and such like. So today I'll be discussing re-establishing your career post-COVID. If you need the link to this webinar or any other webinar, you could visit Republic of Work on their website, and there's a little link there, and it shows you all the past webinars recorded. This one is recorded as well, and also any future dates coming up as well, and you can log on and you can book the tickets. Okay, so let's get started. I will share my screen now because I actually have a presentation for you guys. How is that looking? Is that looking okay? No. Lovely. Back. Okay. Any issues at all, just pop it in the chat box for me, and I will. Sorry, there now, there's just a few more people entering. Just leave these guys in, sorry now. I just don't want anybody missing it out, you know. Okay, so we're here talking about re-establishing your career post-COVID. This is me, Mary Spillane, Rise to Success Coaching. I set up Rise to Success Coaching in 2019. After doing an advanced diploma in career coaching, where I help clients reach their full potential. I established Rise to Success Coaching because I'm a HR manager currently. Coupled with my degree in human resources and mindfulness, I decided that I would commence a career in coaching. I do this part-time along with my full-time role as HR manager. The career goal for me in the next 3 years is to go out full-time doing this, but for the time being, I will do it part-time. I believe that everyone can reach their full version of success, and that's where I came up with Rise to Success Coaching, because everybody has their own version of Rise to Success, to rise to their own success. Sorry, now there's just a few more people coming in. Lovely. Now, the learning outcomes today is to understand the steps in career planning, be aware on how to align your values to your job search, define your strengths and skills, understand how networking can help you in your career, and be competent in CV and cover letter contents, and summary and wrap up. And then we'll have just a few questions. If anybody has any questions, they can pop it into the chat box by all means, and I'll have a look at them at the end if that's okay, rather than stopping and stalling, if that's okay with everybody. And of course, you can send me an email also as well, info@Rise to Success Coaching, and I can answer any questions for you there also after this. I'm also on LinkedIn and Instagram also. So, just letting a few more people in again. So, why are you looking at your career? No matter what working situation you're in at the moment, the pandemic has given people a huge opportunity to reevaluate their career, their personal lives, and basically what's important to us. According to Total Jobs, 70% of workers are more likely to consider working in a different sector, 43% looking for a better work-life balance. Making a career move can be daunting, but is very achievable, even in a pandemic. It's a process which must not be taken lightly. A lot of people will go down the road of looking into their careers and they mass apply. They log on to Indeed or jobs.ie and they mass apply. First and foremost, there is a process in it, and the process in career planning is 6 stages. So I've built here 6 stages of career planning, and we'll go through each one of these stages in detail. Again, if anybody has any questions, just pop it into the chat box there for me. So the process is self-discovery, options and opportunities, making a decision, action, progress, and reflection. So self-discovery, this is the first main area where I would definitely tell people in their career journey is to really look at themselves. What do they want? And ask these questions. Do you know yourself? That's a funny question. A lot of people, of course I know myself. I'm Mary Spillane. But do you really know yourself? Do you really know what you want? Are you self-aware? Can you make good informed decisions? What are your values? Our values we'll discuss later. I have a detailed slide on that. What do you want your career to look like? Really visualize what do you want. Sit down, take time out. Really, people don't take the time out. How will it fit in with your life, be it your family life or your hobbies, personal goals and such like as well. For example, if you take shift work, will you be able to train evenings in the gym or mornings in the gym? Will you be able to take the kids to school? Will you be able to collect the kids from school? These are things that you really need to ask yourself. What are your interests and your hobbies? Interests and hobbies are huge here. If you work on shift work, for example, we're going to say, and you have to train, you coach rugby on a Tuesday and a Thursday night, is that going to pan in with your working life? Is it something that you need to relook at? Is it something that you need to replan? And what is your personality? Does it align with your chosen career? So really look at your personality. Again, we'll be looking at the values there as well. And doesn't align with your chosen career. Now, I don't mean to say, like, if you're a fun, bubbly person that you can't work in the corporate world. But again, can you tailor that to it? So the next option is options and opportunities. So the options and the opportunities are your past, your present, networking, financial, and questioning. So your past options, your past opportunities. Really look into the past, what you've done previously in other job roles, how well you got on. Keys, skills, and strengths as well, which we'll be discussing later. Your present, what's the options and opportunities at the present opportunity also? Like, what options are sitting to you right now? Networking again, I'll go through later with you as well. That's very, very important as part of your options and opportunities. Financial is key here. A lot of people will only take a job basically for money, but obviously you need to understand what's your baseline figure that you need to come in at, and also build from there as well. There is no point in taking a job that you financially cannot afford to take, be it because you have your bills to pay and such like. And questioning then as well. So the questions I like to ask clients is, what brought you joy? When were you most proud? Who did you work best with? What parts of the job did you enjoy? What would you do for free if money wasn't an issue? That's one question that I ask all my clients. And they're really stuck on, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I want to do. What would you do for free if money wasn't an issue? So really think about that as well. And that's where your skills and your strengths come into then as well, by really zoning in on that, and what skills did these roles teach you. And so what skills did they teach you? Making a decision needs to be informed. It's an informed decision. Don't let anybody make that decision for you. I think you'd be really good in a human resources position, let's say. That's their perception. Would you like to be in a human resources profession? So make sure it's informed. Smart goal setting, which I'm sure some of you have already done. Smart goal setting, is it specific? That's the S. So be specific with the goal. Is it measurable? Can you measure it? How will you know when you've achieved the goal? Is it achievable? There's no point in you saying that I want to be working in, I'm going to say human resources because I work there, I'm just going to use that as an example. I want to be a human resource manager in 12 months when you haven't gotten your degree or any relevant qualifications. So it needs to be achievable also as well. And timely as well. Set a time on that goal as well. So for example, I need to relook at my career. So set a time. So this time, 12 months, I want to be in that career, but is it achievable? Can you get it done? So always come back again to, is it achievable also? Action. Apply your decision. So this, you've made your decision now. So now you need to decide, do you need to study? Maybe that you need to just do a short-term course, a long-term course. Do you need to volunteer? Maybe to get the experience that you're looking for, you don't currently have it, and your current job role doesn't have what you need. So you need to volunteer, be it internally or externally in another job, to get that key skill. Job sharing also is an option, and temporary work, temp work is also an option. So these are when you take action, what are you going to do? Progress. So when you're in progress, you're in an inflow state. So inflow is when you're just making headway, everything is going right, you're in the flow. Just make sure to step back and make sure that it's small goals. You have your big goals, then break it down into your micro goals and rewards and achievements. A lot of people, no matter what it is, be it dieting or any goal that they go in, they forget that what they've achieved so far. So you're 6 months into your job realignment and you think, I'm getting nowhere. Look back on the last 6 months and see what you've achieved. And in these steps, you've self-exploration, you've rediscovered your path. And we'll be talking about values also as well. Just make sure that you really look at the past and that you can see your achievements, and reward yourself as well. Don't give up. It is a process. And reflection. Reflection is key here in everything. I'm sure that in any course or anything that you've taken, that reflection is key at all times, just to remember and to resonate what you've learned. So ask these questions. What is working well currently? What is not working well currently? What worked well in the past? And are you up to date in your skill sets? And what are the next steps? So you're basically looking at the present and you're looking at the past and what worked well and what didn't work well. This is key also to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes, or else that you maybe had an oversight that, oh, well, the last time in the interview, it worked really well when I had 3 questions prepared for the employer and I got the job based on that. So go back and think about these things as well. The next slide is values. So values are key in any job setting here. A lot of people don't assess their values. They're things that we haven't been taught about in school or in college or anything like that. And your values represent what's important to you in your life. Everybody is different. Everybody has different values. There's no right or there's no wrong in values. However, it is so important in any job search that you align your values with the job search values or the recruiter's values. Again, not all will marry up completely. I like kind of a 60-40 split. That 60% of my values align with their values as well. And then there's other values that maybe that don't align with me. I like it's one of my key values is family, that I have a work-life balance. So my present career allows me to have the work-life balance. So again, these are things that you need to look at. Knowing your values helps you understand what drives you, what you enjoy, what inspires you, and what you'd like more of. Values change over time and they deepen, and sometimes people get rid of values as well, just depending on their current circumstances. They're always moving. Your values can also be situational. So for example, at work may not be true at home. So some people can park their values, go into work and then come home and then restart their values also again. When it comes to our values, there is no right or wrong, only who we are. So don't tailor your values. Don't think that like, oh, I'd like work-life balance to be one of my values. If it's not one of your values, it's not one of your values, and that's okay. Businesses also have values. So you'd also see when people are advertising for any jobs or anything like that on their website, they'd have their vision, their mission, and their values. Their values is basically what the company is made up of and what they value. So you'd get a key insight as well when you're applying for these jobs, what the values are. When personal and business values do not match, that's where conflict can arise. So if my values don't align with somebody else's values and they come into conflict, that's when it happens then that maybe people get disgruntled. And that's a lot of the time when you're not happy in your job, that the company's values are not aligning with your values and you can't park those values, which is fine. And then that's where conflict arises. When you define your personal values, you discover what is profoundly important to you. A good way of starting to do this is to look back into your life, to identify when you felt good and confident that you were making good choices. So I have a list of values here. For example, there's honesty, there's joy, harmony, simplicity, growth, wisdom, safety, fun, contribution, humor, empowerment, balance, calm, challenge, accomplishment. I've challenged twice actually, fairness, beauty, flexibility, and community. These are just some values. I have a huge list of values actually, which I can send on email to anybody who wants them, but values are huge as well. So for example, harmony. If harmony is one of your values and the job roles hasn't harmony as one of their values, maybe it's a bit chaotic, maybe it's a chaotic environment, very unorganized, very all over the place, then your values may not align to that job role. So really think about it. Values and decision making then. When you consider your values and decision making, you can be sure to keep your sense of integrity and what you know is right and approach decisions with confidence and clarity. When this is flawed, that's when people become almost fuzzled and their brain it just can't comprehend how their values and the company values don't align. So this is where the conflict happens. You will also know that when you are doing your best for your current and future happiness and satisfaction, making value-based choices may not always be easy. However, making a choice that you know is right is a lot less difficult in the long run. So doing right rather than just for the sake of it. So again, really looking at your values. So there are sample values that we've already covered. And then the next is skills versus strengths. Now, there's two main differences here in skills versus strengths. Skills are often described as something you learn how to do through repetition, for which there is a best practice or a way of doing things. For example, data coding. So another skill, maybe one of my skills would be Excel. So I can do Excel, I can do it well, however, I don't enjoy it. So it's a skill, not a strength. A strength, on the other hand, are defined as things we are naturally good at and didn't really have to learn. So listening. So for example, in my coaching practice, I would need to be good at listening. One of my key strengths would need to be listening, because I'm listening to my client. So again, that's a strength. So the difference between a skill and a strength. So just note these down when an employer is asking for a skill and a strength. A strength, basically, how I define it, is how I get energy from. So if you're stuck, you're not quite sure what a skill or what a strength is, how I define my strength is what I get energy from. And I do get energy from listening. As you can see at the moment, I'm talking a lot, so I wouldn't be used to that. I don't get huge amount of energy from talking. I like listening also as well. So that's how I would define one of my key strengths here. Skills is the ability to do something well, basically. So as I've said, it's the ability to do something well. So what skills have you? So how have you developed these skills? So have they been developed naturally? Have they been developed in previous job roles? Or have you gone out and searched to develop these skills naturally through courses? What does the job description require? Does the job description require a skill that you don't have currently? If so, then you need to go back and you need to reassess what you need to do. Is it a further course you need to do? Or is it a short course or a long course? Is there a skills gap? So organizational would be a soft skills gap. So have you a skills gap in organization? That can be taught and that can be learned as well. Teamwork. Have you a skills gap in the teamwork? That's a soft skill also. Another soft skill would be communication. Have you a skills gap there? Maybe it's something that you can tidy up on your communication. So be it your interview skills or your team working skills or how you organize your day, a planner. For example, my organizational skills maybe 10 years ago would have been shocking. They would have been so bad. And then my left arm came in with a diary and I can't live without this diary. So it's the diary and the calendar on my phone and also clock alarms that I love. So that's how I honed in on that skill. And I realized in the job role that I wanted to go in human resources, you do need to be organized. So I zoned in on that organization needs to be one of these skills. What can I do? I can buy a diary every year, and I plan my week, my month, and my year also. And it has helped me hugely. Sorry, now it's just such a freezing. Technology, hey? Now, strengths. So the strengths then, there's 3 characteristics. How we perform using the strength. So how we perform, is it high energy? How much we enjoy using it. Do we really enjoy it? Do we almost get like a buzzing feeling from it? So for example, as I said, one of my strengths would be listening, and in my coaching sessions I listen predominantly. So after the coaching session I am buzzing, I'm on a high, I love it, it's brilliant, I get high energy, I just can't wait for my next session then, you know. And how often do we use it? So again, strengths need to be used often to master, same as everything else. For example, problem solving, you may be good at, but you find it draining and doesn't energize you. And that's quite common, actually. A lot of people are very good at problem solving, but they're just, no, I just don't like it. Or you find your flow in what energizes you. And as I said, listening would be one of mine, where I find my flow. And again, I ask another question, the same question again. If money wasn't an issue, what would you do for free? Keep asking yourself this as well, because this will tell you an awful lot as well. No, my computer wants to freeze an awful lot today. My apologies. The next area I want to look at is networking, and I know we're whizzing through these really, really quickly, but I'm conscious of time. There's books, there's podcasts, there's full days webinars and seminars and everything on this. So I was trying to get in everything and cram it all in, and then have enough time then for questions and answers and anything such like that. So if anybody's not clear of what I've covered in the past or anything like that, by all means drop me a line, info@risetofsuccess.ie, and I can answer any questions. So the next area here is networking. Networking would have been an area that I was really, really frightened of. Like the idea of walking into a room with 40 or 50 people, business class, and basically selling myself to them it was just, I couldn't, I was physically sick. And even to this day, I still get a pain in my stomach just beforehand, because again, you're going into the unknown. However, it is for the greater good, trust me. I suppose in the area that we're in now with COVID, networking has become a little bit easier because you can do it through Zoom. So you're in the comfort of your own home, you're in your own environment. So it's nice, there's no commute, you don't have to get there, you don't have to find a hotel room. So it is nice. So for anybody who hasn't tried the networking, try it. We all network as it is in our personal life. So be it friends, our community, our family, anything like that. So we all network every day. All of us are on social media. That's networking. By following somebody, that's networking. However, go one step further and go out and introduce yourself to people. So networking isn't just short term, it's also long term also. So you have the short term and the long term. I know of people that I've worked with 15, 20 years ago, and they're still in my network, and I still would talk to them and discuss issues with them or anything that I have, or I might pick up the phone and I might say, oh, I must ring John there in relation to a query that I had that I wasn't quite sure, you know, or I needed a refresher. That's long-term networking also as well. So there's why do we network? There's 3 key areas why we network. There's operational, there's strategic, and there's personal. So operational will be your colleagues, your clients, anything like that. So that's operational, that's within your job area. There's also strategic, so strategic to where you want to go. So that be it coaches, mentors, people in positions of power. So your boss's boss, the managing director, that's strategic networking. And then there's personal also as well. So that's friends, community, family, and such like as well. Make time for networking. Choose to connect with at least one person a week. The key is to start. So guys, I'm setting you a challenge that you're to connect with one person a week. Now start off, if you like, through social media. I'm going to go through a little bit there on social media networking. But start off with that and connect with that person, and ask yourself as well, why am I connecting? It's not a case of just follow, like. It's a key of like really look at, is this person in the job role that I'm looking towards, or is this person in the business that I'm looking towards? So maybe you have a grand scheme of things that in 5 years' time, you want to be working in an international manufacturer, so be it Pepsi. So then you should be looking down the line of connecting with people in Pepsi, for example. Introduce yourself in less than 100 words. A lot of people find it really hard to introduce themselves. So I would have struggled with this for years. And when I started out in the coaching business, I struggled to introduce my coaching business. So if you then introduce yourself less than 100 words, so what I would say is grab your A4 piece of paper, write out everything on you and tailor it back to 100 words and master this. So then basically you're really introducing yourself. And you're introducing, so that person will know this person really knows herself. This person really knows her business. So there's just some sample networking messages there after an event. Now, a lot of people don't like sending these messages because they feel that they're annoying the person. However, I would say it's definitely worth one, because you just don't know. Like, I've been to plenty of events and I've just sent a message afterwards, maybe saying like, thank you for hosting the webinar today with the Republic of Work. I really enjoyed our discussion on career change. I feel I've learned a lot and now I'm empowered to make the changes required to achieve my career goal in the retail industry. I would like to connect with you on LinkedIn and look forward to meeting you soon at one of your events. So that's basically in case you were at a webinar or anything like that. You can tailor that also to an event that you were, that you'd love to see them at another event, you know, maybe mention some key area that they mentioned that you were really interested in. They'll take that on board and they'll say, oh, wow, I really empowered someone. And also it's another key network. So when you message them again, or maybe they're following you as well on their LinkedIn, they'll start sharing your posts and such like, or get it connected. You just don't know who knows who, you know. There's another networking message there as well. This is for people on a job hunt. So this will be an area, let's say, for example, we'll go back to our Pepsi example. And Pepsi, you're looking to get a job role in Pepsi within 5 years. You've done your macro goal, you've done your micro goals, and you have it. So now you need to connect with people in Pepsi, because currently you don't know anybody. So my name is Jo Blogs. I currently work for X, and I came across your profile in LinkedIn or company website, or wherever you came across. May I have 20 minutes of your time to ask your experience with ABC? I'm exploring opportunities and would love your insight. I realize this may be a busy time for you, so if you're unable to connect now, I will reach you again next week to see whether that is more convenient. The reason behind that is you're telling them, I just need 20 minutes of your time. So basically they know they need to invest 20 minutes, and that's fine. And a lot of people actually don't mind it. Personally, I get messages. I actually got a message yesterday on LinkedIn from somebody looking for my time. Now, I will get back to that person this evening, and I will arrange a time for next week when I'm back in the job, and I'll have that discussion with her, because that's somebody who's shown initiative to me, that is interested in the job role that I've advertised, and also they're looking to just gain a little bit more insight into it so she can get prepared for maybe when she gets called for interview. And again, I realize this may be a busy time for you, so if you're unable to connect now, I'll reach you again later. So I know that she'll come back or he'll come back next week, and they'll follow up on it. And make sure to follow up also as well. Don't believe me, you're not annoying them at all. You're showing initiative, you're showing interest. It's networking at the end of the day. And also you're looking into a job search to benefit you and to benefit them also. The next stage we're going to look at is cover letter. Sorry, my mouth is getting very dry from all this talking. I'm used to listening all the time. The next stage is cover letter. Okay, so sorry, I was just looking there at the chat box and I just see some messages coming in. That's okay, we'll answer them later. The cover letter, a lot of people don't do a cover letter. Personally, I like a cover letter, and a lot of recruiters do. It's just a snapshot of the CV, and also it's tailored. So the cover letter is a snapshot of the CV tailored to the specific job role. The key here is tailored to the specific job role. Do not mass apply with one generic cover letter and one generic CV. It's a big no-no, and recruiters can see right through it. For example, last week I filtered through over 200 CVs. Over 50 of them I could see were, be it grammar mistakes, spelling mistakes, or else that they weren't tailored. Now that reduces your chance of your CV or your cover letter being looked at by the recruiter. So again, make sure you take the time as well. And it shows the recruiter that you've taken some time out to tailor it as well. This is your pitch that you're the right person for that job. And where you bring value to the employer. Remember now, the employer is looking, where is this person going to bring value to the business? And the first step to your communication to your employer. So this is the first area where you can show the employer that I'm willing to do the job, my grammar, my spelling, everything is okay. This is before they even meet you in person. So they've painted the picture of this person already. So make sure your grammar is okay, your spelling, influencing skills as well. So basically you're influencing the recruiter to ring you, to contact you and look for an interview. And just for clarity as well on anything, and short punchy statements. Don't need any long drawn out things here, like make it short, make it punchy. Again, the cover letter, keep it to one pager. It's tailored to that job role. So for example, if you're going for an administration job role, and you were, let's say, you were working on the shop floor in SuperValu with administration, in the cover letter you can strip out the operational side of things there and stocking the shelves and such, like concentrate on your job role in SuperValu was, let's say, shop floor and administration, and zone in on the administration then, okay? The employer is looking for 4 key things here now. They're looking, have you got the skills to do the job? Have you the experience to do the job? You're willing to do the job, and why you want the job. So basically you're willing and able. So your skills, which we've discussed, have you got the experience? If you don't have the experience, maybe you could have volunteered, maybe you can do a short course, really have a look at that as well. Also, maybe you don't have the experience, however, you have the ability, and that's where you need to convince the employer that you're willing to do the job and you're able to do the job, and why you want the job as well. So again, the why is key here. The why is key in everything. Why you want it, and are you able to do it? So these are the 4 questions that any employer will ask. And when I'm filtering through CVs and such, like, I will ask these as well. So your skills, your experience, are you willing, and why you want to do the job. My computer's after stalling again. It seems to be every time I admit someone that it stalls it, so apologies. So that's the cover letter, the CV. Right. This is always a bone of contention, and it's a huge talking topic of how many pages a CV should be. Some say 1, some say 3, some say 2. I'm saying it's a max of 2 pages, and a lot of the research that I've done and through my experience and through the coursework is 2 pages is key. I would say 1 page for student, anyone early degree stage or any volunteering. 1 page is fine because they're just starting out in their career or anything like that. And any of my clients who are in their early degree stage, now, if they're later on in their degree, then they would have racked up an awful lot of volunteer work or pro bono work or anything like that. And then we can extend that. But if they're early on their career or student volunteer, 1 page is fine. Max 2 pages for anyone else. And a lot of people are like, but I've been working for 20 years. How can I put that 20 years worth of experience in 2 pages? You can if you tailor it to the job description. Please do not forget to tailor it to the job description that you're going on. Again, you can narrow it down nicely and really get your statement across to the employer of the job role. So again, I would say 1 master. I say to all my clients, 1 master CV, and you can have that 10 pages if you want to, and then we'll bring it down to 2 pages. Make it easier for the employer to read as well. Make it easy. Nothing worse than having to track on a piece of paper when they started in one job and when they left another job or anything like that. So I'll go through the flow in a while with you. The job of the recruiter is to find a candidate based on the job description. I have my job description in one hand and I know what I'm looking for, and the other hand I have a CV. If they're not matching, it doesn't match, so the CV gets put aside. So again, make sure that I have my job description, I have my CV, and I can see on the CV, tick, 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 they have it all. 60-40 rule again, if they have 60% of what I'm looking for in my job description, it gets shortlisted. It takes 6 seconds to engage the reader. That is very true. Like if you're looking through hundreds and hundreds of CVs, and I do very regularly, you're scanning through the CV. And I know that doesn't seem fair. However, the recruiter has to spend hours upon hours looking through for one job role. So again, make sure it's clear, it's punchy, and I'll go through the little steps there in a while. And the employer wants to know, can you do the job? Will you do the job? And why you want to do the job? Are you willing and able, basically? The CV contents. So the contents, the layout needs to be easy to read. It needs to be aligned and it needs to be in reverse chronological order. So easy to read. So at the font, basically 12-14 max, New Times Roman, anything like that, Verdana. I like Verdana or Calabri. 12-14 is fine. And then also if you're using headers, just the same size is fine, just bold it. So it's not taking up too much room. And also then that it's easy to read so that it's in punchy statements. So be it that you have bullet points or anything like that. Aligned then would be your dates. So your start and your end date of your career, be it on the left-hand side of the sheet or the right-hand side of the sheet, and then all the way down. So when I'm recruiting, I can see the dates. Let's say they're on the right, I can go down and I can see if there's any gaps. Reverse chronological order. So basically your present role first, right down through. And again, remember that it needs to be geared towards the job description. Gaps on the CV, always explain gaps. This is one that always my clients ask me. Yes, always explain a gap. Career break, personal reasons, minding children, anything at all, put it on the CV. If it's 6, 8, 10 months, whatever it was, be honest, put it on the CV. It's okay. I would never disregard any CV that has a reason for the gap, be it for personal reasons. So then underneath that, you can still explain that you left the job, be it for personal reasons. And also, while you were gone from the job role 6 months, you focused on yourself, your values, your strengths, and any courses that you've done or anything that you've done to progress yourself. This is not a bad thing at all. It means that you took time out, you stepped back and you reassessed the goal really. And that's okay. Once you explain it, you're never going to be disregarded for it. Refer to the job description. I keep saying that. It's so important to refer to the job description, and tailored by the employer with a mind map. A mind map basically is the employer's name in the center, and then off that, write on the job description what they're looking for and what you have, and then basically you can narrow it down. The core components. Now, these may not all be used. So, for example, you'd have like education, IT, technical experience, work history, voluntary work, achievements, interests and hobbies. They would be the core components of it. But for, let's say, voluntary work, you mightn't volunteer. That's okay. You just leave it out and that's fine. You know, you don't need to use all those headings, but that's your standard CV there. CV tips, again, no need to put curriculum vitae on the CV anymore. The actual document says what it is, you're just taking up space. So you just don't need to do that. No need for photos. Again, I know that in some countries it is a prerequisite. It's not in Ireland or the UK, so there's no need for photos or anything like that. Grammar and spell check, always use grammar spell check just before you're sending it away. Save it as a PDF document as well, not as a Word. Email names, be so careful of email names here. Really tidy up, start tidying up now on your social media and tidying up on names as well. I've had some very funny email names come to me, so just make sure that it's just your name or something standard. Voicemail set up and professional, absolutely. As a recruiter, I ring my candidates for the interview, or I might do a phone interview at the moment due to COVID. I'm doing an awful lot of phone interviewing. So make sure that the voicemail is set up, because if there's no voicemail, I'll be ringing from a private number, for example, or I might be ringing from a number that you can't Google search. So just make sure that your voicemail is set up. Also, if you have a LinkedIn, just use the URL at the top of your CV. You can add it underneath there, and just make sure it's the customized one, not the long gibberish one that they set you. You can go into settings, just YouTube it, and you can customize it to yourself so it's shorter, so it's not that long gibberish one. Again, tailor to the job description. I can't emphasize that enough. I'd nearly put it on every slide if I could. Everything in third party except for the personal profile. So your personal profile is I, and everything after that is in the third person. So because it's a team effort, really, it's not I. Decide if dates are going on the left or the right of the document, uniformed all the way down, and make it easy for the reader. So just look at it and really look at it, or get somebody else to look at the CV and say, can you read my CV? Interview preparation is the next step. I'm whizzing through these now because I'm conscious of time as well, and I have a lot of slides in here. Do your research. Research the values, mission, vision, awards, any employee reviews, anything like that at all. So preparation is key here, and see here that we have values again. So make sure that you know their values, that they align with your values as well. Be flexible. So at the moment, a Zoom, phone, face-to-face. So just be flexible and be prepared that you may be asked to do a Zoom interview as well. So be prepared for that. My apologies. Show up on time. Know your way there. So I would say to a lot of candidates, just make sure that you take the time even the day beforehand to know your route, and bear in mind as well, just in case it's a peak traffic time or anything like that, and arrive 10 minutes beforehand and relax. Relax is the key here. So even if you arrive a half an hour beforehand, that's fine. Be in the car, just meditate, relax, breathing exercises, and then pop in 10 minutes beforehand. And be prepared. Know your interview panel, know the job role, and have researched the role. Talk to current employees. I know a lot of employers who, as part of the interview experience, that you have to talk to current employees, which is really not a bad thing at all, because you're actually visiting the site or wherever you are, or networking, and then you're talking to them and seeing, so you can give those solid examples back in the interview. So it shows the interviewer as well that you've taken the initiative to network basically, and to find out their role, and does the roles suit your needs also. This is key here. Interview your employer. What is the company goals? So like, you're being interviewed, but also you may interview the employer. And a lot of people forget this. That's okay. So you need to interview your employer. So what is the company goals? Like, are they long? Are they short-term goals? How will my performance be measured is another question you can ask. How can I add the most value? What is the expectation in my first 100 days? So again, this is key then. So at the end, every interviewer will ask, have you any questions? Have these prepared as well. I like being interviewed as an interviewer. It's a bit of a challenge, and it just shows that the candidate is interested as well. The usuals are really like, when would you like me to start? When's my notice? But it's nice to give something different. So I like the question of what is the expectation in my first 100 days? As we all know, that the first 100 days are key in any job role, or any new role for that matter. And that's where the person makes the most impression, and that's where the employer is really looking in, like, is this person going to suit? And you're also looking, is this really going to suit my needs? So at least you have your expectation then also there, that you know the expectation of you, and they have an overview of it also. So the summary here is, we're at our last stop and we'll have questions. Self-discovery, work on you. Consider hobbies, family, what are you willing or not willing to sacrifice, basically the non-negotiables. Tailor your CV or cover letter and have a master copy also. Stay relevant and up to date in your field. Know your story. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's a huge one, guys. You need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. No one reached anything in their comfort zone. You know, really push it now. Small steps lead to big results. Start now. So if you're waiting to be ready, you'll never be ready. So just start now. And stay relevant and up to date in your field is key also. So when you land the role, congratulations and well done. However, make sure you stay relevant, because the times are changing so much. So just the key here of if you're waiting for perfect, you will be waiting forever. Nothing is perfect from the start. To start now, learn, adapt, and be flexible. Thanks very much for that, guys. I will take any questions that anybody has. I'll just stop sharing there now. Now, great. Thanks very much for the feedback. Great. I see there, great website to help you discover. Yeah, the VIA character org is very good, actually. I've used it myself, and it's free as well, so it gives you some strengths and weaknesses or anything like that. Would you write a little intro on the top of your CV, or do you need to keep that only for your cover letter? Great question. Absolutely. I would have a nice little intro on the top, and that's in the first person, and then the rest is the third person. And again, like the cover letter is your snapshot. So like 3-4 lines, punchy statement there, and you'll get away with it. No problem. I hope that answers your question. Miriam, if you're having extensive job history due to temping, etc., do you need to list the jobs that are relevant to the job role? I would list any job that's relevant to the job role and just keep them shorter, you know. Again, you don't have to write 20 years worth of experience. They'll understand. But again, tailor to job description. I hope that answers everything. Olive asked, oh, she had to get back to work, no problem. How do I access the recording? It's on the Republic of Work website. They will just edit it and it'll be there available. Thank you very much, Steve. Caroline, thanks very much, very important. Thank you. I have changed from a technical, so John, I've changed from a technical role to a very different path. Does that affect perceptions? Absolutely not. You've reassessed yourself, John, your values and such like, so absolutely not. I have clients who've gone from corporate to non-corporate and non-corporate into corporate. Absolutely. Just make sure again to tailor and make sure that any skills gaps or strengths gaps or anything like that. If you have any further questions, John, please feel free to send me an email. I hope that answered your question. Mention using CV, I in the CV, and then we. Could you recap on this? Absolutely, Shirley. So your I is your personal profile. So that's your intro. So I am Shirley, and then the rest is third person then. So you're using punchy statements then. So like you're using action words and doing words. So you're using such things like enabled, empowered, facilitated, these kind of words, you know. I hope that answers that for you. And Donica, job description, did you say, okay, to apply 60%? Absolutely, 60% is the golden rule. 60%, you're never going to have 100%. Well, you may, but a lot of candidates don't have 100% of the skills gap. It's almost like a teaser of what the employer is looking for, but 60% is always good, you know. Again, it depending on the role, however, 60% is a good indicator. I hope that's answered everybody. Sorry, I shared something there on Google. I was looking for the webinar. So I hope that helps everybody in their job role. And anybody else, any questions, feel free to send me an email, info@risesuccess.ie for anything further. So I'll leave you off, and thanks very much for attending.